Hi everyone, I'm Suzanne. Welcome back. In today's video, I decided to share with you some of the middle grade books that I've tried in the past week. I've recently fallen in love with middle grade and I wanted to dip my toes into some series in the last week and see if I could find some new ones that I loved. And I tried out books from 4 different series, 3 fantasy and 1 mystery. The first series I'm going to talk about is called A Royal Guide to Monster Slaying, and this is by Kelley Armstrong, and this is a fantasy series. And in this series we meet Rowan, who is a twin to her brother Rid, and in this kingdom whoever's born first in the siblings becomes an heir to the throne. And in their case, Rowan was born first by a couple minutes, and she is going to become the queen while her brother is going to become the monster slayer, and they desperately wish they could trade positions. And an opportunity comes along that enables them to do just that. And in this, we meet all kinds of really cool animals, part magic, and they're not all nice, but some of them are. And Rowan really seems to draw to her animals, magical monsters, they're called in this world. And all the kingdoms united under one kingdom because Rowan's clan and her ancestors were really good at monster hunting, so they protect the rest of the kingdom. And in this series, we find, and I chuckled quite a bit. I have to say I laughed a lot out loud in this. It was so cute because this little bunny was actually called a jackalope, and it grows antlers and has big teeth. Anyway, it's really cute. It's a baby. It's drawn to Rowan, and here we have a were, and we meet a Pegasus. So it's a lot of fun and a lot of magic. It's really a feel-good for sure. And yeah, I'm really glad I discovered it. I quickly jumped into the second book, and I'm highly anticipating the third one that's coming out in June. And my daughter just started listening to this one as well. I can't say enough about it. If you like the camaraderie, because her aunt died, making her a monster slayer much younger than anyone anticipated, and she ends up having companions that are her age. So you start to see those relationships grow as well, which of course, I love that about middle grade. Great series, recommend for sure. So the next series I'm going to talk about, I actually started at the beach, and it's called the Woolston Craft Detective Agency. And I thought I'd take you along to the beach with me yesterday, so here it is. And if you notice, this book is from the library, which who doesn't love the library? But I just mentioned that because of this little beach expedition yesterday. There's a lot of sand in the library binding and I can't get it out. Anyway, this is called the Woolston Craft Detective Agency. And this particular book is the case of the missing Moonstone. This is the first in the series. I have 3 more here at home. I ended up getting all 4 out of the library in case I wanted to binge the series. And in this case, we meet 2 girls, Ada Lovelace when she was little. Now, these are based on true characters in history. Ada Lovelace, as well as Mary Godwin, who we all know as Mary Shelley, who wrote Frankenstein. Now, in real life, they are 13 years apart. This is all fiction, but because, for example, they have them 3 years apart in this book, but they start a detective agency. And they end up having to solve this mystery together. The characters are endearing. I don't think I guessed the ending. What I will say is this seems to be written for a very young audience. And while I enjoyed the book, I didn't love the book. And there was absolutely nothing wrong. It was enjoyable from front to back, but it didn't hook me for sure. And I just had the feeling all the way through that it was for a much younger audience. And of course, they're all written, middle grade is written for younger audiences, but sometimes you don't even notice. And it doesn't matter. But in this one, I think that it did matter. And I might try the second one since I have them here. Normally I wouldn't continue with this series, but since I have them all and I noticed one was on audio, I might listen to the second one on audio while I do the dishes or something, or clean the kitchen or something, and see how it is. But really, I would say this is a 3 out of 5 for me, and I won't continue. I'm going to play the audiobook of the first one for my daughter and see if she's interested. She's 7, almost 8, and we'll see what she has to say. The next series that I started is the Castle Glower series, and this is book 1 called Tuesdays at the Castle. And this is by Jessica Day George. And this is a fantasy book, and there's a magical element in this book, and it's the castle. So it's a magical castle that this family lives in. And if the castle doesn't like who's supposed to inherit the throne, for example, it will change rooms, and it would make it very clear that the castle doesn't want the firstborn, for example, to inherit the throne. And the castle is continually creating rooms and moving things around, and it has a life of its own. And in this particular book, the youngest child, Celie, has been mapping out the castle, and the castle really seems to respond to her. And their parents go on a trip to get their oldest son from school. He's graduating from wizard school, and they disappear. Supposedly they're dead. And the 3 siblings that are left, including Celie, have to deal with the repercussions and the people trying to take the throne. Absolutely love this book. I thought it was a really enjoyable read. I probably would have jumped into the second one had I had that particular book. I'm going to continue with this series. And I will say that my daughter, who, like I said, her age is 7 to 8. She'll be 8 next month. She did not like this book. She thought it was boring. She wasn't a big fan of the magical element being the castle, and she really loves it when it's magical elements or people or animals, that sort of thing. So this wasn't a go for her, but I'm continuing on with the series. And the next book I'm going to talk about is a fantasy series. And I actually started this one at the request of my daughter. She keeps bugging me to read it because she absolutely loves it. Paddington used to be her favorite series, but that has been bumped and relegated to her second favorite series because now her first is Wings of Fire. So this is the first book in that series, and it's by T. Sutherland. And this one is The Dragonet Prophecy. And I did get an opportunity to read this outside in the sunshine today. So I'll let you have a glimpse of that, just to add a little beauty to the video. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. I thought it would be fun. And those tulips are absolutely gorgeous. And I picked some as shown there because I'm finally going to do my morning routine video tomorrow. Woo! So, Wings of Fire. I'm really enjoying this story. And I honestly would never have picked this up if my daughter didn't keep begging and bugging me to read it. And now I'm glad she did because I'm quite enjoying it. So I am listening to this predominantly on audiobook, which is really good. In the beginning of this book, we meet dragonets that are living under the mountain, and they have been brought together and they're being trained because there's this prophecy that says at the end of 20 years, all the killing and the wars that are happening in this country. So there's different clans, different types of dragons, and they're all fighting each other. Except for 2, but for the most part, they're all fighting each other. And this prophecy says that at the end of 20 years, all the blood and tears, that these dragonets will come and basically save the day, and it will be the end of the war. So at the beginning of this book, we meet them underground, and the dragonets, they don't want to stay underground. They're sick of it. So a couple years before the prophecy is supposed to come to fruition, they escape. And in their escape, they end up getting captured by one of the queens, who puts them all into a ring to fight. And yeah, so we get to see them try to figure out how to escape and what they're going to do about the future. Definitely enjoy. I will continue with the series. I actually ordered some of these from Book Outlet as well, so that we can have our own copies. This is a library book. All right. Those are the middle grades I'm going to share with you this week. If there are any middle grades that you've been reading and love, or any that have stolen your heart, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to know. And if you love middle grade as well, please be sure to hit like for this video and subscribe for further videos like this. I will see you soon with another bookish video.